today we got the new GDP readings, and it was negative as expected. Can't remember by how much. Really, by how much, it doesn't really matter that much. So the GDP it's very difficult to measure the GDP. It's a lot of variables, a lot of statistics, a lot of places, and obviously they have to combine all of that. So it's very difficult to get an accurate GDP. So the question you have to ask is, do you actually trust all the people that collect the GDP? But yeah, it is a negative figure. So technically, this is a recession. And what we are, so a lot of people, I've watched a lot of videos, heard a lot of opinions, and a lot of people they're using the "this time it's different" excuse. Even the Fed are saying, no, it's not, it's fine, this is not a real recession because employment rates are low. Or, no, this is not a real recession because people's balance sheets, private people's bank balances are very high. And so it's not a normal, don't worry, it's not a normal recession. Everything will be fine. I think even Meet Kevin was like, no, it's fine. There's lots of jobs. There's lots of cash. We're fine. This is a normal recession. Oh, this is not a normal recession. Everything will be fine. But yeah, you have to understand why there's a recession. So why is there a recession? Mainly there's a recession because, well, the US printed too much cash. Basically, Uncle Jerome Powell, he got a bit happy, and unfortunately there was a bit too much printed. Well, it might not be his fault. I mean, he basically if the government wants stimmy checks, they want stimmy checks. And there was too much cash printed, and now we're sitting with sky high inflation. So that's the reason for the recession, is basically inflation. Everything else is just a result of that. So what is actually interesting is that it's actually all in the hands of the consumer. If all the consumers just decided, hey, let's not spend all our money, inflation would have been fine. It's just because they want to spend their cash, that's why we have this sky high inflation. But what makes the question is the recession actually different? Is it special? So there's two main arguments. One argument is that there's jobs are really good. Everybody's looking for jobs. Jobs are amazing. The companies are looking to fill the jobs, and employees are all employed. So unemployment rate is low, and there's actually a demand for jobs. So that's the first argument. Now, my counter argument to that is that, have you looked at history? Have you looked at the history of recessions? The low points in the history of the unemployment rate is at the start of a recession. It's almost like you can actually look at the unemployment rate. If it's like very low, it means that there's a recession coming. So that's not an argument. You can't actually say that, because the low points in the unemployment rate is when the recession starts. So that's actually just not an argument. And during a recession, unemployment usually spikes. It goes up. So if there's a turn in unemployment, it sort of signals that this might be a recession if unemployment spikes up quickly. And if you've actually watched the news lately, all the big corporates, they cutting jobs. So which means unemployment is going to go up. So yeah, that's definitely not an argument. The second argument is that everybody's got a lot of cash in their savings and check accounts and stuff like that. So once again, you have to go back to what's the reason for the recession. The reason for the recession is inflation. What does that mean? That means people technically don't have cash. Yes, you've got cash, but it means nothing. So any figure you have, if you say, because basically what everybody does is they look at the graphs, and the graphs are telling us, hey, there's people's balance, personal finance, what do you call it, personal balance sheets basically are going up. It's like, what? Everybody's like 10% wealthier than, I don't know, 6-7 months ago. But you have to keep in mind that the inflation is also almost 10%, which means you have 10% less cash, which means nothing's changed. And this is only in 1 year. So every year, if the inflation rate stays this high for another year, it's another 10%, which means that, yeah, you're technically 20%, or, yeah, I don't know, there's a calculation of which you have to do, but it's 10% of the 90%. So, yeah, but you're technically like almost 20% down. So any calculation you use to sort of measure things where we are when it comes to money, you have to keep high inflation into account. You can't just say, oh, everybody's flushed with cash. You have to deduct 10% every year when the interest rates are this high. Then you can say, okay, what happens after that? Now we're still flushed with cash. Yes, then you can say that. But it's not the case. So actually, if you really look at all the variables, this recession is not special. It's a normal recession. People are spending less money because they're scared, because of all the media out there. That's mainly why they're starting to spend less money. I know at the moment now, yes, they say, cool, awesome, yes, everybody's spending money, but you have to also remember it is summertime. Everybody's happy, they flushed with cash for now. But sentiment is going down, and sentiment is a bit of a predictor of what's coming. So sentiment is telling us that people are planning to spend less, which means that there's going to be a recession because companies are going to make less money. It is a job shortage in the sense that companies can't fill positions, which means companies aren't as productive, which means they will also earn less, which means there will be a recession. So at the end of the day, the recession isn't really any different. It is going to be a normal recession, which is going to be a slowdown in economic activity. That's basically the definition of a recession. And whether people are flushed with cash or not, if the economy slows, it slows down. And like I said earlier, mainly the reason why it's slowing down is because of the media, actually. Obviously in the media everywhere you hear about recession, you hear about job losses, you hear about high inflation. So the consumer is going to be a bit scared. Obviously the reason why they might be sort of still spending a bit, and we're not actually, the consumer doesn't look like it's affected, might be because this is the first real summer in the US after Corona, where there's literally no rules, no stress. Corona's a thing of the past. You can now go on holiday and you don't have to worry. Of course people are going to spend. People are going to go a bit crazy. People are more relaxed. But eventually, when they do get home and they do focus on normal life and what's actually going on in the world, the consumer sentiment is showing that things are going to go down. There's going to be a economic shrinkage. So yeah, that's basically my argument of whether this recession is special or not. And so far I don't see anything special about it. I think because we're in the early stages, people have this weird skewed view of what exactly is this thing. But yeah, we're just gonna have to hold on tight and just push through. Hope we survive this thing. Hopefully it's a short one. But yeah, if you like this video, then remember to press the button, and if you want to see more, then remember to subscribe. Until next time, this is Steve. Ciao.